Hey guys, I wanted to make a different kind of video. I'm out taking a walk. It's a beautiful day. And I just had some things on my mind that I wanted to share. Or just at least put into perspective. Because recently the Lord has just been opening my eyes about some things that are actually pretty obvious, but at the same time, you might not really think too much on them just because it's just a thing. But it has to do with people's hearts that have been divided towards God, that only really care for God when it's relevant to them, like even when it comes to the rapture, like they like the idea of having an escape and going home to heaven and having this really nice mansion and all this and that. But if you speak a word to them about submitting to God so that we can be effective vessels for His kingdom, all of a sudden they feel like you're adding a burden to them, or they tell you, oh no, you just need to believe in Jesus, you don't really need to follow Him, you just need to believe, and what you do doesn't really matter because He loves you so much. You see how they put a twist on the gospel. And it just made me think about how a lot of the ways of humanity. I'm gonna cross the street, guys, so if you hear a tap tap, that's my shoes. I decided to run anyway. A lot of the ways that people are, it's like that can testify against them on Judgment Day. Like, for example, like I was talking about, this message is mainly about how I've observed the divided hearts of people. There are times when you might just be talking with people or just overhearing people talk, and they'll explain how it offends them when people are fake toward them. They don't like it when someone acts like a friend to their face, but when their back is turned or in other situations, then that person acts like they don't know them. And I hope those cars aren't too loud, but basically the person acts like they don't know them and acts as if they didn't have any friendship at any point, really. But my thing is, if someone's living a life of just the bare minimum service to God, where it's like, let's say that, they believe in what Jesus Christ did, they believe in His sacrifice, that He came to die to ransom us, to save us from a life of death and depravity and destruction. They believe that, and they call themselves Christian, and when they're in their bedroom before bed, they just pray, a simple prayer of, okay, God, can you protect my family? Can you just protect my health and do this and that, and maybe play like a worship song that they heard when they were like 5 years old and just that they remember from church a long time ago. But then when they get out in the world and they're with their friends, and their friends want to abuse drugs, and they want to, get super high and super drunk to the point that, they're passing out and they're just acting crazy, or inviting them to parties where, people want to sleep around and do all this other stuff. So let's say that same person, that acknowledges Jesus, that they'll acknowledge, that He's the Son of God and all that, and they'll pray on their bed, but once they get with their friends, all of a sudden there is no whatsoever evidence, no fruits of the Spirit whatsoever, that if you or me were looking at them from the outside, would be able to differentiate that person from their friends, because they don't stand for the ways of God. They don't care for the ways of God. They don't submit to God. They don't care about holiness. They don't care about purity. They don't care about submission. They don't care about any of that stuff. And the only time they have anything to say about what's right and pure is when they're at a Bible study or in their bedroom. So it's like You remember Peter? How Peter walked closely with Jesus, but when it came down to it, he ended up saying, oh yeah, I don't know him. Who's Jesus? Who's that? A lot of people, they live their lives like Peter did in that moment. You know, it's like God this, God that, when, you know, when they're by themselves maybe, but out in public, all of a sudden they act like they don't know Christ. And to me, I just thought, how ironic is that? Because I know I've heard of people complaining when they feel that people are fake toward them. It's like, why are you my friend in private and you want to talk to me in private, but when my back is turned you talk badly about me? Or when we're out in public, all of a sudden if I wave to you, you act like you don't know me. Like, why are you being fake? But how many of those exact same people who complain about that are fake toward God? You know, a lot. A lot. So that's what I've been seeing and just meditating on, how important it is to God when we're willing to give something up if he should ask us to give it up. And we don't view it as a burden when it comes to like serving him. You know what I mean? Like, he hung on a cross and bled. He bled out for us on a cross, and you know, he took all kinds of atrocious behavior on our behalf. He didn't have to, but he loved us and he felt that we were important enough to do that for us. And so the way I see it, I feel like I owe God my life. You know, it's more than just saying, oh, I love Christ, and, you know, stomping my feet and clapping my hands at a church service during worship time, and then going out and living like I didn't read a word that that the Bible says. But no, I take Jesus with me. You know, I take Jesus with me everywhere. It should be to the point that non-believers who know you are able to say, yeah, that person, she doesn't drink with us. She doesn't, you know, if they tell a dirty joke, they'll be like, oh yeah, she's not really into that. You probably shouldn't do that if she's around. Like, your presence should, the way that you act and obey according to the Lord's words, should cause them to feel convicted if they do certain things around you. You know, that's just food for thought. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. You know, God appreciates those who know him in private and know him in public and live for him in private and in public. It honors him. So that's what I wanted to share. I love you guys. God bless you. Bye.